Hey guys, and welcome to Unit 7, Part 1. What can we do? What can we do? So let's take a look here. What a waste! Starting up here with a snapshot. So let's take a look at this. It says the United States generates 254 million tons of waste a year. Almost 2 kilograms of waste a day. A day. That is insane. 1,500 plastic bottles are consumed every second in the United States. It takes at least 500 years for a plastic bottle to decompose. This is crazy. This is one of the biggest problems. So, plastics are one of the greatest miracles of modern society, but at the same time, it is one of the biggest concerns that we have today as well. I'm going to link a clip of an island they've actually dubbed like Plastic Island because all the plastic that gets dumped in the ocean, there's a current that picks it up and takes it to this particular island and the dangers that exist. So I'll go ahead and do that. And we kind of talked about it already this week with the cell phones. Americans throw away around 130 million cell phones a year. Much of this e-waste ends up in landfills. So, landfills are, go ahead and bring it up. This one still makes me laugh. Let's go back to the Googaloo. Let me show you some pictures of what a landfill actually looks like. So these are landfills. They're basically just tracts of land, just mountains of trash. And they just do that. They fill a hole in the earth and they fill it with garbage. And sometimes they just leave mountains of it like that. Trying to be green about it. Nice thought. A great example is Wally. Wally is a robot that basically, he's collecting all the trash from all over the world, right? If you guys saw the movie Wally, that's where he works, right? But a lot of the earth is already nothing but these things. See, like complete like buildings of garbage, and that's why we don't live on Earth anymore. At least in the movie. So those are landfills. Um, in the U.S., 30 to 40% of the food supply is wasted. It's insane how much food they throw away. It always breaks my heart. That could feed millions of hungry people. It's one of the things that I never got used to in the United States, how easily they're like, well, I don't want to eat that. I don't like that. It's like, it's food, it's whatever. Just eat it. But somebody put onions in it and I just hate the onions. It's like who really? I mean, unless it's completely disgusting. Like I don't. Yeah, yeah. Never got used to that. How could we reduce the waste of each of these items? So, how do you guys think that we could stop generating about 2 kilograms of waste a day? How much do you produce in a day? Have you ever thought about that? How much stuff do you throw away? How much you actually recycle? That kind of thing. Or the plastic bottles. How could we get around that? Cell phones, we talked about it already. Just because it's old doesn't mean you have to throw it away, right? And how about the food? What could be done with the food? Right? Here's an example that I know of. Starbucks sells not just coffee, but you know how they sell sandwiches and stuff like that. Whatever doesn't get sold gets donated to shelters. So any food that Starbucks doesn't sell after a certain period of time, they actually donate it. So they're stopping this kind of waste. It actually goes to somebody. Yeah. What do you throw away and what do you tend to recycle? So think about that. With me, like recycling, well, besides the plastics or whatever, um, clothes, clothes, not so much that I recycle them, but I donate them rather than throw them away. What are two other environmental problems that concern you? So what are two other things that are going on right now that really concern you? With me, it has to be, I'll mention just one because I don't want to steal somebody's, but droughts, the lack of water. There's a great documentary on Netflix called Rotten. Right? Rotten. No, it's podrido. This one right here. And it talks about the food industry. Season 1, the very first episode is about the avocado and how it used to be seasonal, but demand is so much worldwide that it is now a year-round crop. And the problem with that is that it's still grown seasonally in certain places. So in California, it only grows for certain months. In Mexico, it only grows for certain months. And then the third major producer of avocado is Chile in South America, because the seasons are opposite to ours because it's in the southern hemisphere. So when it's winter here, it's summer over there. So they can grow it, which with what for us would be out of season. But there's a problem that comes with that. Growing these crops year round, the water that it takes, having to irrigate the fields leads to other issues. And then the very next episode is about bottled water. So I highly recommend you guys watch at least the very first 2 episodes of this documentary to get a handle on uh, like how precious water is. It's insane. I mean, and also the main focus of each episode is really, really good. It's really important. But perspectives. Vote for Grace Medina or Medina for city council. Okay. So this is what Grace Medina stands for. Let's go ahead and take a listen to her platform, see what she has to say.
Unit 7. What can we do? Page 44. Exercise 2. Perspectives. Vote for a better city. Part A. Listen to an announcement from an election campaign. What kinds of problems does Grace Medina want to fix?
Vote for Grace Medina for City Council. Grace Medina's ideas for Riverside. Have you noticed these problems in our city? Our fresh water supply is being contaminated by toxic chemicals. The roads aren't being repaired due to a lack of funding. Our community center has been closed because of high maintenance costs. Our city streets are being damaged as a result of heavy traffic. Many public parks have been lost through overbuilding. Low-income families are being displaced from their homes due to high rental prices. Grace Medina, the change we need.
Yeah, that's what they all say. Uh, it's true. It's gonna be different with me, and it isn't. It really isn't. But good for Grace. Someone's got to do it. It's not gonna be me. So, which of these problems affect your city? I'd like to say that most of them. So this is something that we're going to tackle tomorrow. And can you give specific examples? Oh wow, I can give so many, right? The roads aren't being repaired. How many well, this is recent because of the pandemic. Well, and not just the pandemic, but Linea Tres construction closed down so many businesses, and it took so long to build that a lot of them went out of business. They couldn't maintain the costs of rent and utilities because they weren't getting any income. So um it all of this stuff kind of happens. So we will go ahead and tackle these in class. But think about it. I do not want to steal your answers. But essentially, more passive. Yay. More past participle. Yay. You saw it coming. The list of 50 irregular most common verbs. Yay. Yep. I never get tired of bringing it up because there's always one person that forgets. So we're going to continue with the passive. In present continuous this time, our water supply is being contaminated. So in the previous unit, in fact, the last thing that we saw on how to describe problems, we had the passive infinitive. So let me make this bigger really quick. We had the passive infinitive because it was to be and then the past participle. All right. To be fixed, to be adjusted, to be continued. No, we're not done yet, but to be continued. Sorry, stupid joke. I had to put it in there. Passive infinitive. Now it is the passive continuous. There we go. Boom. Because now it is being. Again with the ing. In fact, let's do this. There we go. Being fixed, being adjusted, being continued. Okay. Being done. Again, we're not done yet, but boom. So it is the continuous ing for the verb to be with the past participle of the verb. And that's kind of what it looks like in a nutshell, right? So is being contaminated. And then the reason, or by the what. So by toxic chemicals as a result of heavy traffic due to a lack of funding. Okay. Due to is another way of saying because, right? Or because of a lack of funding, right? So due to and because of, same thing. Okay. And then the present perfect. And again, it has to do with to be, has been, have been, closed, lost because of high costs through overbuilding. So this is our key here. Our what? Our community, many public parks, the roads, city streets. Okay. And you can describe them in both ways. City streets have been damaged as a result of heavy traffic. Okay. So it just depends on the focus that you want to give it. This is in continuous because it is happening right now. Okay. It is continuous. They are being damaged. Right now, as we speak, there are cars running down the road as a result of heavy traffic. In the present perfect, as you know, with the present perfect, it means that it started at some point in the past and it is continued to this day. Okay, so our community center has been closed because of high costs. Many public parks have been lost through overbuilding. It kind of makes me think of Chapultepec in Mexico City. So not Chapultepec, the street here in Guadalajara, but Chapultepec forest in Mexico City. You have to, I mean, try and go back 500 years or so, right? Or yeah, further back to when the Mexicas and all the other tribes of the Valley of Mexico used to roam over there. And when the Spaniards came, and how slowly but surely all the building of Mexico City as we know it today ate away at Chapultepec Forest. It's still huge. It's still enormous. Just imagine how much bigger it used to be because of that. But due to overbuilding, we've lost so much of it. You know? So let's take a look at this one. In fact, let me kind of resize it. Let's resize it. So we have these pictures. Let me keep going out. There we go. See if I can get this in like this. And no, I cannot. Let's try again. Here we go. Match the photos of the environmental problems with the sentences below. So these are the pictures. So some sewage going out into the water, dirty fish, logging, air pollution, urbanization, and not so happy cow looking at the camera. We got 6 pictures. And good thing that didn't show up. There we go. All right. High emissions of carbon dioxide are causing climate change by, and then we have to say, by what? Right? So high emissions of carbon dioxide are causing climate changes. Rapid urbanization is depleting our natural resources. We have to use through. So we're going back to the grammar, okay? And we're saying by. So you can either use the continuous or the present perfect, right? So instead of using the are, we're going to be using the by. High emissions, or you could say climate changes are being caused by high emissions of carbon dioxide. So you flip them. Our natural resources have been depleted through rapid urbanization. Okay. So you're going to start with your what? Climate change, natural resources, the health of people all over the world. Okay, so it gets harder the further we go down to identify our what. Okay, and whether we're going to use by, through, due to, because of, as a result of, through, and we're going to use present continuous, and then it says rewrite it using the passive and the preposition given. Okay, but we're going to do both. We're going to use the present continuous and the present perfect, right? but it's not the present continuous. And I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's the present continuous passive. So first we're going to match them, and then we're going to rewrite them using both. And looking, there it is again. Okay. So matching the pictures. So I'll leave it there for a second. And we're going to continue. We have another listening. So once again, we have 3 people describing some serious environmental problems. Check what the problem each person is talking about. So we got Morgan, Dalton, and Kendall. No, not Kendall Jenner. That'd be nice. Landfills, poor farmland, electricity, e-waste or electronic waste, air pollution or water pollution, and what can be done about it. So I'm going to play it once. Remember, you can always rewind.
Page 46. Exercise 5. Listening. Saving the environment. Part A. Listen to 3 people describe some serious environmental problems. Check the problem each person talks about. 1. Morgan.
Wait, don't throw that out.
Why not?
Recycle it. I've been reading a lot about how much trash we produce and what happens to all of it, and it really has me worried.
Why?
Well, it seems that the easiest way to dispose of trash is by burying it in landfills, land that could be used by farmers to grow food and other things. The problem is that in many countries, the dumping areas have already been filled up, and it's hard to find places to start new ones. Of course, no one wants trash buried in their neighborhood, but it has to go somewhere.
So what's the solution?
Well, there is no easy solution. However, many cities are trying to do more recycling so that they can reduce the amount of stuff that goes into the landfills.
2. Dalton.
I love my new computer, but I don't know what to do with my old one. It's so outdated. I know I shouldn't just throw it away.
Well, you're right about that. Not disposing of electronic devices and other appliances properly is a huge problem these days. Not just here, but all over the world. Many people don't know what to do with their old phones, computers, video game systems, TV sets, refrigerators. There are dangerous chemicals in these products, and they have to be handled in the right way.
So, what are we supposed to do?
Well, e-waste is not going away. With all the new technology these days, there's more e-waste than ever before. The solution is to dispose of it responsibly. The good news is that there are more and more e-waste processing centers where professionals take these products and separate them into their various parts. Many of the parts can be reused, of course.
3. Kendall.
You know, you always hear about air pollution, but not many people are aware of the problem of water pollution.
You mean in the oceans?
No, I mean polluted drinking water. It's a problem in almost every major city in the world. Almost all our rivers and lakes, where we get our drinking water, are being polluted in some way by businesses, farms, homes, industries, and other sources. And even though the water most of us drink is treated, it's still not 100% pure.
So what's the solution?
Well, it's a complicated problem to solve, but basically what's involved is treating all waste products more carefully so that dangerous chemicals and bacteria don't get into our water supply.
Okay, very good. Remember, you can go ahead and be kind and rewind as many times as you need to see what the problem was and what can be done about it. So which problem above worries you the most? What is being done to fix it? So once again, with me, it's the water. And people think like here in Mexico, We get our drinking water from jugs, from garrafones, or unless you have a filtration system in your house. We don't trust the water coming out of the sink. We can get sick. It's not clean to drink. Well, that happens in the United States too. People don't think that. There's a town in Michigan that hasn't had drinking water in years. And it was brown. It was coming out brown and no one's done anything about it. I believe that to this day nothing's been done. So I will go ahead and link a video regarding the problem, but let's go ahead and look for it. I momentarily forgot the name of the town. Michigan, town with no drinking water. Let's see what comes up. Flint. That's what it was. So let's go here really quickly. That's what it was. Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan water. Flint water crisis. Coming to the aid of those in need. Right? There's even a Wikipedia article on that. Flint crisis. Fast facts from CNN. So this town's been without water for a while. Let's click on this little article quickly, just so you guys get an idea of what's going on. All right. So see, look, it's a public health crisis that started in 2014 after the drinking water source for the city of Flint, Michigan was contaminated in April of 2014. Flint changed its water source from treated Detroit water and sewage department water to the Flint River. So they started draining the river. Officials failed to apply corrosion inhibitors to the water. As a result, lead from aging pipes leached into the water supply. That lead, plomo, in the water. And like I said, I'll link the video. It is gross. It is gross, the water that these folks have been dealing with. And you're thinking like, well, first world countries, they don't deal with this stuff. Oh no, happens everywhere. Happens everywhere. Finally, I'm going to end it with the word power. How concerned are you? How concerned are you about these problems? Check them. So, unemployment. People don't have jobs. Famine. There's no food. Global warming, government corruption, infectious diseases, political unrest. So this means, rebellions and protests. So, the protests that women have been doing all over Mexico, spray painting statues of Benito Juarez and over at UDG. Have you guys been by UDG on Rectoria in Vallarta? It's been spray painted since March 8th of last year, right? Or no, of this year when they did the March for Women. So that kind of thing. Or what's happening in Chile or Hong Kong, that's political unrest. Poverty, well, we know that one. Recession. I'm going to be curious about how many of you guys know about recession. The guys in international business, you guys should know. So we're going to ask you guys. And violence. So over any of these social problems, are you very concerned, fairly concerned, or not so concerned? Okay. So we're going to discuss these. Okay. I am covering quite a bit in this video, but as you can see, it's fairly quick. So I don't expect to cover everything tomorrow, but I am trying to get the videos out as quickly as possible so we don't fall behind. Just as a heads up, we don't have classes on Monday, October 12th. So that's another reason why I'm kind of trying to cover quite a bit. Okay. So I know we're a little behind in 2 classes with the reading from Unit 6, but worry not. We are at a good pace. So how concerned are you? And I will go ahead and link those 2 videos about Flint water and the other one about Plastic Island. Okay. See you in class.